places I have been. Wouldn't wanna change. Into the place I love, the place I love.
If we weren't such a part of All Saints, then how can we sound like All Saints now? Obviously, it was a lot to do with Nick and I. It wasn't just Mel and Chaz that were All Saints.
All Saints wasn't your typical girl group. From the jump, their journey was rocky. False starts, failed singles, and a member who walked away. But this band had grit. They regrouped, found the missing pieces, and finally became whole. Fame followed, but so did friction. Tensions ran deep, deep enough to tear them apart. And they did split, more than once.
You went on record saying that All Saints is never ever getting back together.
Yeah, I still believe that.
Still, they kept coming back, not for the fame, not for the money, but because something about their sound, their sisterhood, refused to die. Today, they're standing strong, thriving in the spotlight once again. So buckle up, because we're diving deep into the rise, fall, and fierce comeback of All Saints. From their uncertain beginnings to their defining moments, this is a story you don't want to miss.
Before the world knew them as All Saints, Melanie Blatt, born on March 25, 1975, and Shaznay Lewis, born on October 14, 1975, were just two voices behind the scenes, singing backup at SARM West Studios, right off All Saints Road in London.
Met Mel 5 years ago, and I'm in West London on All Saints Road, and that's where it started.
Alongside Simone Rainford, born on 20th April 1975, they signed to ZTT Records, and under the guidance of future Sugar Babes manager Ron Tom, the trio was molded into a girl group.
The first time I ever met Shaznay and Melanie was they came down to the studio one day, and that was the first time I ever met the two girls.
They toyed with names. Spice was one of the early picks, but it didn't stick. Neither did Slinky or Shifty. Eventually, they landed on a name that felt personal, All Saints 1975, a nod to the studio where it all began and the year of their birth. It felt fresh, real, and entirely their own. They debuted as a trio at the Notting Hill Carnival on the Touch magazine stage. The energy was there, but something was off. Behind the scenes, creative tension was already bubbling. The group couldn't agree on a direction. Their debut single, Silver Shadow, dropped in 1994 but barely scraped the charts. The chemistry between Simone and the others was starting to sour. By 1995, the group was unraveling. Simone Rainford walked, and shortly after, ZTT dropped them.
Anyway, that argument went on and it instigated other things after that, so that was one of the fights.
But Blatt and Lewis weren't ready to give up. They started auditioning new members, quietly rebuilding from the ashes.
Then came a twist of fate. Blatt's dad, who was working as a taxi driver at the time, crossed paths with Nicole Appleton, born on December 7, 1974, an old classmate from the Sylvia Young Theater School.
Melanie was too embarrassed to make the ask herself, so she passed the job to Shaznay. Nicole was intrigued. She sang for them, in the bathroom of a restaurant no less, and just like that, she was in.
Well, I've known Nick and Nat from school when I was 11, and we were best friends for a year.
But the story didn't stop there. Nicole's older sister, Natalie Appleton, born on May 14, 1973, was initially only interested in managing the band.
Lewis said it just felt right. There was only one problem. Natalie had a young daughter, and leaving for the band meant leaving her behind. Her parents stepped up, offered to care for the child, and Natalie made the leap. Now a four-piece, All Saints was reborn in May 1996.
Just being young and being four best friends that have to work with each other, I struggled with differentiating those relationships, basically.
They soon linked up with Carl K.G. Gordon, a former member of Outlaw Posse. The new group started searching for a label, but every door came with a catch. The Spice Girls were dominating the world, and the industry wanted All Saints to follow in their footsteps. But they weren't interested in being anyone's copy.
Then came a lifeline. John Benson at London Records saw their potential and signed them in November 1996. With that deal came a second chance. They dove into the studio, this time with producers like Gordon, Cameron McVeigh, Magnus Vines, Johnny Douglas, and Nellie Hooper. They weren't just chasing hits, they were building an identity, edgier, cooler, moodier than their bubblegum counterparts. They'd already been burned once. This time, they were going all in. All Saints weren't here to follow trends, they were here to set them. In mid-1997, All Saints exploded onto the scene with their debut single, I Know Where It's At, breaking into the mainstream and hitting number 4 on the UK singles chart. But it was their follow-up, Never Ever, released in November that launched them worldwide, soaring to number 1 in the UK and Australia. The single sold a staggering 1.2 million copies in the UK alone, earning double platinum status and snagging 2 Brit Awards in 1998 for Best British Single and Best British Video.
And the award for Best Video goes to the talented and not unattractive All Saints for Never Ever.
Their debut album, All Saints, dropped in October 1997 and quickly climbed to number 2 on the UK album chart. It went 5 times platinum in the UK, with 1.5 million copies sold. The momentum didn't stop. In May 1998, the double A-side Under the Bridge, Lady Marmalade became their second UK number 1 single, selling 400,000 copies and earning a gold certification. That same month, the album was re-released with a fresh track list. Booty Call, their 4th single, also hit number 1, while War of Nerves, the final release, peaked at number 7 and went silver with 200,000 copies sold. The album's success rippled globally, double platinum in Australia, triple platinum in Canada, and platinum in the US, where All Saints produced 2 Billboard Hot 100 Top 40 hits, I Know Where It's At and Never Ever. November 1998 marked a milestone when they won the MTV Europe Music Award for Best Breakthrough Artist, performing live despite Melanie Blatt missing the event due to pregnancy. Fast forward to February 2000, All Saints dropped Pure Shores, the haunting soundtrack to the film The Beach. Written by Shaznay Lewis and produced by William Orbit, the song became their 4th UK number 1 hit and the 2nd best-selling single of 2000, with 824,000 copies sold. It also bagged an Ivor Novello Award for Most Performed Work. That same year, the Appleton sisters and Blatt made their film debut in Honest, a dark comedy set in swinging 60s London, directed by Dave Stewart. Playing 3 streetwise sisters chasing a life of crime, their performances drew heavy criticism, especially for the Appleton sisters' topless scenes. One scathing review slammed it as the worst kind of rubbish, the kind that makes you angry you wasted 105 minutes of your life watching it. In October 2000, All Saints dropped Black Coffee, their 5th and final number 1 single in the UK, selling 230,000 copies. This hit paved the way for their second album, Saints and Sinners, which stormed to number 1 on the UK albums chart and eventually went double platinum, selling over 600,000 copies. The album's 3rd and last single, All Hooked Up, peaked at number 7 in January 2001. But behind the scenes, tensions were boiling over. In February 2001, All Saints announced they were taking a break, officially to clear the air. Melanie Blatt later admitted that the group's future was uncertain, tangled in financial and business struggles. The spark that ignited the split? A petty but explosive fight over who would wear a certain jacket for a photo shoot. Shaznay Lewis recalled, "I never thought a jacket would end the band, but when that fight happened, it lit a fire that couldn't be put out."
Exactly the same. It was split screen. No one wanted to put a black jacket on.
There was no way she was getting that stupid jacket.
It was over a jacket?
No, I mean, we had done so much by that point that we literally just needed to stop.
By November 2001, London Records released All Hits, a greatest hits collection featuring their chart toppers and Blatt's solo single 24/7. The album peaked at number 18 in the UK and went gold, selling 100,000 copies. Years later, in 2008, a slightly altered edition was handed out free with the mail on Sunday. Then came the surprise reunion. On January 24, 2006, All Saints announced they'd signed with Parlophone and were back in the game. Their 3rd album, Studio One, was underway. Its lead single, Rock Steady, hit number 3 in November 2006, but the album itself stumbled, debuting at a disappointing number 40. It eventually earned a gold certification, but the momentum had clearly fizzled. The follow-up single, Chick Fit, launched in February 2007, but failed miserably, missing the top 200 after canceled promos and no physical release. The reunion imploded. Reports surfaced that All Saints and Parlophone had parted ways, and the group scrapped their planned UK tour. Then, in 2009, Melanie Blatt crushed hopes, telling London Light bluntly, All Saints are never getting back together again. Yet, just 3 months later, a second greatest hits compilation, Pure Shores, the very best of All Saints, surfaced. 2 discs packed with hits, deep cuts, and B-sides, a bittersweet reminder of what was lost. Tragedy struck on May 25, 2013, when original member Simone Rainford died from kidney cancer, just a month after turning 38. The loss haunted the group and their fans. But in a surprising twist, November 2013 brought news of a second reunion. All Saints would hit the road again, this time supporting the Backstreet Boys for 5 UK and Ireland dates in 2014. They also played Gay and the V Festival that year. Blatt was clear, no new music was planned. They were simply taking each day as it comes, doing it for pure enjoyment. Then, on January 27, 2016, the unexpected happened. All Saints confirmed their 4th studio album, Red Flag, set for release on April 8th. The lead single, One Strike, dropped February 26, signaling that the band, once thought finished, was ready to fight back. In February 2016, after more than a decade in the shadows, All Saints announced their first headline show at London's iconic Coco. Just weeks later, they revealed a full comeback tour, their first in 15 years, to promote Red Flag, their new album. That October, they hit the road, touring 10 British cities from Newcastle to Norwich, promising fans a setlist packed with their biggest hits, alongside fresh tracks from Red Flag. The album launched strong, debuting at number 3 on the UK Albums Chart. They pushed forward with singles like This Is a War and One Woman Man, reigniting their signature sound.
By late 2016, All Saints were announced as support for Take That's UK and Ireland tour, keeping their momentum alive. In May 2018, via Instagram, All Saints dropped the name of their new album, Testament, set to release that July. The lead single, Love Lasts Forever, premiered on BBC Radio 2, signaling a fresh chapter. That year, they toured nationally to celebrate the release, proving their enduring appeal. Then, in April 2020, amid uncertain times, the group teamed up with Sting to release a haunting cover of Message in a Bottle, accompanied by an official studio video, showing that even after decades, All Saints still had stories to tell. Now let's talk about each member of the band and their personal lives. Melanie Blatt found love in 1998 with Stuart Zender, bassist for Jamiroquai. That same year, they welcomed a daughter, Liliella, born November 20. But like so many showbiz romances, it didn't last. The couple split in 2006. Today, Blatt is 50 years old, navigating life with a cool $10 million net worth. Shaznay Lewis, born in Islington to a Barbadian father and Jamaican mother, married dancer Christian Storm Horsfall in August 2004. Together, they built a quiet family life, welcoming son Tyler Zane in 2006 and daughter Tiger Lily in 2009. At 50, Lewis remains grounded, with a net worth matching Blatt's $10 million. And there's Natalie Appleton, whose life reads like a movie script. Born in Mississauga, Canada, to Jewish parents, she bounced from New York to London, sang at a country club at 15, and by 17 was dating a male stripper. At 19, she had her first daughter, Rachel. A short-lived marriage in New York ended with an annulment. By the late 90s, Natalie was making headlines with TV presenter Jamie Theakston and actor Johnny Lee Miller. But it was Liam Howlett of The Prodigy who stole her heart. They wed in 2002 and had a son, Ace, in 2004. Now 52, Natalie lives in Hampstead and is worth an estimated $15 million. And finally, Nicole Appleton. In 1997, she met pop icon Robbie Williams, and soon after, they were engaged. But behind the glamour, Nicole faced a heartbreaking choice. Pressured by her record label, she terminated a pregnancy. The relationship didn't survive. In 2000, she began dating Oasis frontman Liam Gallagher. They had a son, Gene, in 2001. Gallagher even penned the ballad Songbird in her honor.
They married in 2008, but it all came crashing down in 2014 when news broke that Gallagher had fathered another child.
Nicole moved on, found love again with Stephen Haynes, and in 2020 welcomed daughter Skipper. They married in 2021. Nicole is now 49 with a $5 million fortune and a life defined by resilience. It's nothing short of remarkable that All Saints are still standing. After all the turmoil, splits, and near collapse, they survived. Their sound, timeless, ethereal, and as fans, we're holding our breath to see what surprises each of them has in store next. Because with All Saints, the story's never really over.
I'm not crazy.